Okay, so when you think about visiting China, where does your mind immediately go? I mean, chances are you're picturing the massive metropolis of Beijing, right? Or maybe the totally futuristic skyline of Shanghai, or even the famous terracotta army over in Xi'an. But here's the thing. One of the most culturally rich, historically significant, and literally jaw-dropping destinations in all of China is probably a place that hasn't even crossed your radar yet. Well, today, we're going to challenge those preconceived notions and unpack an absolute hidden treasure.
Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are focusing our lens entirely on Datong. This is China's hidden ancient capital. We're talking about a treasure-class city, and its millennia-old charm doesn't just quietly sit in the background, it actually rivals those historical giants like Beijing, Xi'an, Luoyang, and Nanjing. It's kind of like a city that's been polished by time itself. And as we go through this, you're going to see exactly why it absolutely needs to be at the top of your bucket list.
All right, let's just dive right into it. To truly understand the magic of Datong, we're going to structure our journey today across 5 key areas. We've got China's hidden ancient capital, miracles of ancient architecture, the true home of noodles, modern oasis and nightlife, and finally, a millennia in one city. Starting off with Section 1, China's hidden ancient capital, a millennium-old charm. Now you might be thinking, okay, an ancient capital this untouched, it's got to be in the middle of nowhere, right? But actually, no. It's incredibly accessible. We're talking a super smooth, 2-hour, 350-kilometer high-speed train ride straight from Beijing. And it definitely didn't just stumble into historical significance by accident. Just look at how this built. It evolved from the southern capital of the Dai state, then rose to massive prominence as the capital of the Northern Wei Dynasty, and later served as the secondary capital of the Liao and Jin dynasties. That continuous heavy layer of imperial influence, that is exactly what set the stage for the modern-day preservation of its incredible heritage. And that leads us perfectly into Section 2, Miracles of Ancient Architecture, Millennia-Old Engineering Marvels. If you know anything about Shanxi province, you know its greatest treasures aren't just landscapes, they're exceptionally preserved cultural architecture. And Datong, it is the absolute crown jewel. This brilliantly illustrates the sheer architectural genius of ancient craftsmen. First up, we have the Hanging Temple, which is literally clinging to a cliff face over 50 meters in the air. Like, no joke. Then, you've got the Wooden Pagoda of Yingxian. This is the oldest and tallest existing all-wood building in the world, and get this, it was built without a single nail. Not one. It relies entirely on intricate mortise and tenon joints, an engineering feat that's let it survive multiple earthquakes and stand firm for nearly 1,000 years. And finally, Huayan Temple. This is a sprawling complex of over 30 structures showcasing majestic Imperial Liao-Jin architecture, complete with massive sweeping roofs. But hey, the architectural marvels here don't just stop with wood and tile. The Yungang Grottoes take us back a staggering 1,600 years. Construction on this absolute masterpiece of stone carving art began under the Northern Wei Dynasty around 460 AD, and it took over 150 years of relentless, awe-inspiring dedication by ancient artisans to complete.
And the scale of this site? It's honestly kind of difficult to wrap your head around. The grottos consist of 45 major caves, plus over 200 subsidiary caves, all carved directly into a cliff face that stretches for a massive 1 kilometer along southern Wuzhou Mountain.
Inside those caves are more than 59,000 statues. Yes, you heard me right, 59,000. They range from these tiny, intricate little carvings all the way up to the colossal 17.6-meter-tall main Buddha. And what's truly fascinating here is how these statues visually document a fusion of cultures. You can clearly see a bold Western region style beautifully fused with the spirit of the Xianbei people. And over time, that style transitioned to include delicate Han cultural elements, initiating a totally new era of Sinicized Buddhist art. Now, I want you to think about the deeper logic behind the Shukong, or the Hanging Temple, for a second. Why on earth would you build a temple clinging to a treacherous cliff 50 meters up? Well, it was actually a stroke of profound engineering wisdom to avoid the flooding of the river below. The ancient builders cleverly used an overhanging rock right above the temple as a natural umbrella. So during rainstorms, water just cascades safely off the rock and into the valley, preventing erosion. It's brilliant. Plus, it's an incredibly rare temple that embraces coexistence, seamlessly merging Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism all in one place. Imagine the sensory thrill of walking along those narrow walkways, hearing the creaking wooden planks under your feet, and looking down that sheer drop. I mean, when you're standing on those planks,
50 meters in the air, your knees involuntarily trembling a bit, you really start to understand the deep, poetic reverence of this ancient phrase, "Speak not too loud, lest gods be disturbed." It just perfectly captures the awe-inspired fear and the transcendent peace you feel in that exact moment.
Okay, let's take a breath and shift gears for Section 3, the true home of noodles, savoring authentic local flavors. You know, falling in love with a city often starts with falling in love with its food, and Datong's culinary heritage is a huge part of its charm. Now, there's actually a global misconception we need to clear up right now. Around the world, people often talk about Xi'an knife-cut noodles because Xi'an is just so incredibly famous overseas. But actually, the true historical birthplace and authentic home of the knife-cut noodle is Datong. So consider that a fun little did-you-know moment for your next dinner party. And Datong's menu goes so much deeper than just one dish. Just imagine sitting down to a bowl of perfectly smooth knife-cut noodles in this rich, savory soup. Or their famous braised eggplant. It's perfectly burnt and salty on the outside, but sweet and incredibly tender on the inside. Then for dessert, a soft, delicate millet cake drizzled with sweet osmanthus honey. And to wash it all down, you've got to try the incredibly thick local sea buckthorn juice. Or, if you're feeling adventurous, Datong's unique specialty, vinegar cola. I know, it sounds totally wild, but it is surprisingly refreshing and just such a fun, unexpected discovery. From ancient temples to vibrant dinner tables, Datong isn't just stuck in the past. Welcome to Section 4, Modern Oasis and Nightlife, Rebirth of a City. The city has actually undergone an incredible rebirth, blending its historical weight with these lush ecological spaces. Inland Datong used to suffer from really harsh sandy droughts and water scarcity. In fact, Winning Lake had completely dried up for over a decade. But back in 2009, the city launched this monumental ecological project, the One River, Three Reservoirs, One Lake system. Through sheer determination, this once arid basin was reborn into a massive 4.33 million square meter ecological park. Today, it's a thriving green lung filled with diverse flora, shaded trails, and clear water teeming with fish. It's a real game changer for the city. And as the sun sets over that restored lake, the city's ancient streets really come alive, specifically at Dongnanyi. This is Datong's prime nighttime destination. The ancient gray tiled walls and wood-carved windows are beautifully illuminated. Twisting historical alleys meet modern trends here. You can browse creative boutiques, follow the incredible aromas of food stalls serving lamb offal soup, and just soak in the vibrant, bustling energy of historic Datong brought to life under twinkling lights. Finally, we arrive at our last pillar, Section 5, a millennia in one city, echoes of the past, visions of the future. This is where we see how all that history and culture we've just explored is painstakingly preserved. The epicenter of this is the stunning Datong Museum, which is an architectural marvel all on its own. It's designed with these twin S curves that symbolize the region's rich ethnic fusion. Housed inside are 170,000 diverse artifacts. We are talking first-class national treasures here. Like the lacquer screen from the Northern Wei Jinlong tomb, its vibrant crimson colors remain undimmed after 1,500 years. You can also stand face-to-face with a formidable 1,500-year-old terracotta military array, or marvel at the massive, exquisite glazed Qi-Wen ornaments from the Liao Dynasty. It's essentially a three-dimensional history book of northern China's integration. We also definitely have to highlight the breathtaking Dai Prince's Palace. Built in 1392 for the 13th son of the Ming Dynasty founder, Zhu Yuanzhang, this palace stood as a royal residence for over 250 years. Known as a miniature Forbidden City, its resplendent blue and yellow glazed tiles, grand halls, and that legendary, mystical, nine-dragon glazed screen wall wrap up our architectural tour by perfectly manifesting immense royal dignity, and it's all preserved right in the heart of the modern city. So how does a modern visitor connect with all this history today? Well, through incredible experiences like Dreamlike Datong. This isn't just your standard sit-down show, it's a mobile, immersive live performance. The audience literally moves through layered spatial designs, stepping directly into the scroll of history to experience the turbulent and romantic echoes of the millennia we've just uncovered in this explainer. Which brings us to our ultimate question. We've seen gravity-defying temples, breathtaking 1,600-year-old stone carvings, tasted the true origins of knife-cut noodles, and walked through a miraculously reborn urban oasis. So, after unpacking the absolute depths of China's hidden ancient capital, What do you think? Which hidden gem of Datong are you going to explore first? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks your curiosity to dive even deeper into this unforgettable destination.